Hello and welcome back everyone to Rocket Rabbit Commentaries run-through of Aurora mode on Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. And in this episode, we're finally showing off that yes, we switched out our great sword attack for a short sword. This is sad because I prefer great swords, although our short sword parry is still decent and it's still definitely a thing that we can use. Yep, right there. And we also still have Helmsplitter. It's weird for a short sword to have Helmsplitter in my opinion. It still does a decent amount of damage, thankfully, and it still inflicts minus con, so...
Big lunge, tiny weapon.
A very tiny weapon.
Yes.
Now, unfortunately, Teenage Aurora does have the problem of her being slightly taller, so, so she's not nearly as nimble as, well, she doesn't fit in as many places as a Child Aurora does. But she can swim now!
Yeah. That's an ability that the game did not explain. So,
yeah.
A game flaw, maybe?
A small one, to be perfectly honest, because you're expected to play Aurora mode after having successfully completed at least a normal mode run through with Miriam, and with that in mind, it's relatively you should know what the normal boss order actually is, and normal boss order would be Velac, then we would go into Bathin, then Bloodless, and after Bloodless you can go and take down Alfred. So it's kind of weird that we get the upgrade on Velac instead of Bloodless, to be perfectly honest, but...
Excuse me, coming through.
Honestly, I was hoping we get the upgrade on Jeeble, because it makes sense thematically for the upgrade to be on Jeeble, but it's not.
So because of the boss order, we should know, hence this is not our first playthrough of the game, that you have to play through it at least once, that you should know you have the ability to swim now.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Or that you should have some ability to travel underwater. Bloodless. The reason why I want to do Bloodless mode is because there's a very important stopping point that most people hit with Bloodless, and that is finding underwater travel with Bloodless, because it's actually for some fucking reason they put the ability to travel underwater for Bloodless in the goddamn underwater area without explaining that it was going to be there. That is honestly a pretty bad design choice. If it were up to me, I'd actually have it be, I'd actually have underwater travel either as a reward for taking down Jeeble early, or because Bloodless doesn't give a shit about anything. She's just trying to take over the castle. As an exploration reward for opening up the 8-Bit Nightmare room. Not for clearing 8-Bit Nightmare, although they honestly could have done that, just scaled 8-Bit Nightmare down a bit, because Bloodless, the enemies in Bloodless mode specifically do drastically different amounts of damage depending on where they are in relation to spawn. It's why the Bloodless mode specifically is one that I definitely want to do. It's just that it's going to take me a bit to actually record it, because, well, I wanted to do it on a hard mode, and I can't clear up Bloodless on hard mode. It is sad for me. I'm not good enough in the game to do it.
Well, so don't do it on hard mode. Do it.
I know.
Do it on a difficulty.
I will be
lets you
doing a Bloodless run on normal mode, but it's going to take me a bit to record it. Mostly because we're doing Aurora mode right now, and you know, I don't like to have our revisits of games immediately after one another.
I do. So that way the memories stay fresh.
But yeah, Forbidden Underground Waterway as Aurora, it's very tight, to be perfectly honest, because like 90% of these caves have bat spawns, and honestly they're just annoying for at this point in the game, because, well, you'll notice we not only do we have 800 HP, but the bats are doing single digits worth of damage. So yeah, Aurora is effectively much more powerful than she should be going through this part. Also, for some fucking reason, these walls actually respawn when they don't have anything in them, and that aggravates me.
Yeah, that is pretty terrible, because, well, of course there's a chance you can forget that you already checked it, But that's why things stay broken.
Yeah.
Except for platforms. Platforms should respawn. Fake walls should not.
Yeah, fake walls should definitely not respawn. But this is
Silly.
Pascal recognizing, oops, yeah, I'm not supposed to go that way. I've already partially been through that way. So, down into the depths we go. This is the Decima enemy. I know that. Oh, we also get another a charge up for again. Decima is extremely important for the Miriam mode run. I think I will be doing a hard mode Miriam mode run, but I'm not entirely sure yet. I know I'm going to be doing Zang and Bloodless, but
so swimming and water breathing. Gotcha.
Yeah, thankfully, there's only one character in this game that ever has problems breathing underwater, and that's due to lore reasons.
Is it Bloodless?
You know, very deep, expanded lore reasons.
Because, you know, vampires have that.
A thing that I'm not entirely sure if I've explained yet. The enemies that can drop the shards for our friends also drop the upgrade materials for them. So Glashtin not only has the ability to drop the friend shard for potential upgrades, but is also one of the enemies that you would farm on if you need to upgrade materials for that particular friend shard, which in this case is diamond.
MD max up. Skillas.
Yes. Not the mythical Skilla, because the mythical Skilla was actually a Hydra thing, whereas this is, you know, a demonic clam.
What was it ever revealed that Skilla is like a Hydra thing?
Yes, because Skilla and Charybdis are two different monsters on that street, and Skilla is more akin to Hydra than Charybdis, as Charybdis is just effectively a Sarlacc pit.
Because I always took Skilla to be just the cyclone. The whirlpool itself. A whirlpool.
No, that's Charybdis.
A whirlpool that erupts spontaneously in order to imperil any seafaring champions.
Yeah,
like
the
Odysseus.
whirlpool is Charybdis. Skilla is on the mountain range beside it.
Here we find surfaces that are not so swimmy. Sand.
Yes. Sadly,
it arrived in Sandopolis.
I know this wasn't a concept that was all that well explored in Dawn of Sorrow, but we never get access to easy travel in sand with any character, and it kind of bothers me that that's the case, honestly.
Well, so far it's very recognizable that jump to stay alive, just like in Sonic the Hedgehog.
Well, not alive, but afloat, because if you get buried in the sand, you'll either fall into the room below, or nothing bad will actually happen to you.
Oh, so not like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Not like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Because what Sonic the Hedgehog wants to do is to send you into the kill surface, which is buried just underneath the sand. Or, as you mentioned, there may be areas and rooms hidden underneath the sand that you might not think to check because you're used to the game killing you with sand.
I don't think Donkey Kong Country ever does that with sand specifically, but it does do that with bottomless pits at least once a game. Matter of fact, I think Donkey Kong Country 1 does that at least once a world, actually.
What, bottomless pit hazards?
Yeah, bottomless pits hazards. Because World 1's got one that's technically part of the cannon puzzle in Cannon Barrel Blast. World 2 has the DK coin in a bonus area. Above a platform that you wouldn't otherwise know how to get to.
Unless you use your super platforming skills to navigate the hidden pathway.
There isn't even a hidden pathway over there. It's just the edge of the fucking screen.
The Tomb of the Giants.
No, we're not playing La Milana again. I mean, I might consider doing another La Milana randomizer run, but probably not. Now, Volcha already gave us the friend shard, so I don't need to be fighting her anymore because we have effectively gotten almost all the rubies that we need.
So we have fewer reasons to attack them than to actually fight them.
Yeah, that is a problem that Aurora actually has for a majority of her playthrough. Once she actually gets the friend shards that she needs, she really doesn't have any good reason, at least on normal mode, to fight most of the enemies that we encounter.
Well, we had commented a couple times as to how gaining flight as early as we did might teach you to just avoid enemy encounters, but then you realize that the power of flight is supposed to teach you how to, well, I mean, if flying is swimming through air, then we have to get used to the idea that we're going to be swimming underwater too. Whoa. Alfred.
Right, Alfred.
Run
Alfred,
away.
sadly, as a hero character, actually has light resistance, so I'm gonna be attempting to melee him down instead. He also has fire resistance like a bastard. Melee him to death. Alfred's fight is always one of the more difficult ones, regardless of which character you're playing. But Aurora specifically has an easier time with it than anyone else, mostly because her flight makes it so that she gets to avoid the grounded potions that Alfred's got. But this unfortunately comes at the cost of her not having a good answer for a cursed order, because a cursed order is definitely a thing that she still needs to watch out for. Just not nearly as much as the grounded potions.
Yep.
Slow
the ground was frozen.
zones.
This guy's running away quite a bit.
Well, yeah, because Alfred thematically knows that he is not a physical match for any of the characters that he ends up fighting. I'm pretty sure he's close to dead though now. Another couple volleys of light ray should bring him down.
Of course, a character that runs away as much as this guy does would inflict slow on us in order to
make it so that he can run away slightly more. There we go.
Precisely. But his
got
running
another light
away
ray
had
upgrade.
failed.
Sweet. Also, we're poisoned. It doesn't look like we're poisoned, I know, but there's a little bit of show off. And another shard for Igni. Yay!
Yay.
Alright, so let's get over to the save room. And then from here, we gotta actually go to the secret underground lab for the next boss, Doppelganger.
Heh. Doppelganger.
I'm pretty sure that we're not gonna have enough time to actually get to Doppelganger this part, but that is probably what we're gonna open with next part. We're gonna open with the Doppelganger fight.
Stupid Buer color swaps.
Nah, the Alistair is honestly one of the enemies that I really wish was easier to take down as fucking everyone, because unfortunately, no one gets good answers to Alistair. Like, Bloodless arguably gets the best answer to it with the Charged Umbrella Strike, but even then, that takes a bit to charge up, and it's not necessarily a good answer.
Amy.
Yes, Amy.
Jeez. You see what obsession over your favorite blue hedgehog can do to one's soul. Is Amy Rose has devolved into a fire demon.
Slow demon, actually.
A slow demon, even worse. The only way to catch up to the fastest thing alive is to slow him down. With curses and hexes.
And other ne'er-do-farious things. Another living fossil. Yeah, the living fossil is an interesting enemy simply because it's very much just a palette swap of the dragon, which, although we haven't actually seen as an enemy that we can fight earlier on. We've been in two different rooms that have dragons in it. We just didn't see them while we were there, because you get to avoid dragons for like the entirety of the game until you get to Inferno Cave. And we'll be getting to Inferno Cave soon, but not this part.
Poison toads.
And yes, Aurora can be poisoned, as we showed off in the Alfred fight.
Yep.
She's
She can be
resistant
slowed
to every
down.
status ailment in the game, thankfully, but she's not immune to them. I think she might be immune to Curse. I'm not entirely sure. I don't think I've ever gotten hit by the death trap attack or a Cursed Order with her, so...
Ow. Well,
And
she's definitely not.
at this point, I've run through the randomizer enough to actually know how to deal with Cryo Wraith before she becomes a big threat. So,
Heh.
sadly, Zepar is still relatively tanky against us. So it's we have to back off a bit in order to take him down. No, Pascal dead.
Don't touch the Amy.
Always check the hidden rooms. There could be stuff in there. We don't know because it's a blind run.
I mean, for a blind run, you've been flowing
We've
pretty
been
well
very
so far.
thorough. And yes, we've
Puppies.
been flying, ha 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 ha, mostly because of flight.
Rocky,
Right,
huh?
Other Alicer.
Rocky
And
the
a wall that
Rottweiler
doesn't
head.
have anything except a hidden room behind it.
How dare you disturb my sand bath time?
And no treasure chest. Usually there's a treasure chest in that room, which is why it's important to check there for everyone else. Except Zhang, because Zhang 2, I really wish that Zhang had a more fleshed out mode, but he very much just is the Belmont mode of the game. So
Tch.
it's why I'm hesitant to say that we're gonna do a Zhang run. I know we're doing Bloodless because Bloodless has actually got a lot of interesting stuff going on, but in the next episode we will attempt to make it over to the secret underground lab. Be safe, everybody.
Yes, and thank you for watching. Whoosh.
This door doesn't go there.